Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Apologies, these things are sent to testers and I've had a few problems I've had to sort out at the house that could not be left for a match is all I'm going to say. So I hope we're all doing very, very well. Sometimes in life you have to go and sort things out. Apologies for that. Let me just get this timer ready for you as well. Okay. Okay, we're up and running with the timer as well. Actually, I'm going to sync in with my timer here, so apologies for that. I'm not going to go off that. Why is that not working? Okay, let's get this going first. We're not on that. We're not on that. We're not on that. I need to be bigger than that. Okay, let me go there. Wait a minute. That timer's not right. I'll get it sorted. Apologies for being a bit late, everybody. I've not even really had a chance to look at everything. I was watching the Spurs against Chelsea game, Spurs against Wolves game, and then I was going to go live, and I had to go and just had an emergency I had to sort out. We'll go through the team news in a minute. There we go. We're sorted. It's all right. Okay. Right, I can sit back and enjoy this match with all of you now. Thank you very much. I hope you're ready to go. Okay, so let me just pull that down to there. Team news for Manchester United is basically the same team as you can see on the screen there. It's basically the same team that we put out against the mighty Copenhagen where we lost. Similar back four. Onana is in goal. Dalot is in for Wan-Bissaka, who is ill. Maguire and Lindelof and Reguilon. No place for Varane. What's going on there? I spoke about it on Twitter last night. There's a clear issue. Varane is furious with the way he's being treated. I think he's got every right to be furious about the way he's being treated. I'm a big fan of Ten Hag. I want him to do well, but under no circumstances should Rafael Varane be sitting on the bench for the likes of Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof. It's crazy to me. McTominay and Eriksen in the midfield with Bruno. Rashford's back on the right. Garnacho's on the left. Højlund up front. I mean, look, there's not a lot that can go wrong here in a contextual sense. Because Invillage says, why do people celebrate Spurs injuries and downfall? Get your super chats in and your normal chats. We'll read that. I don't know what you're talking about. Daniel Derbyshire's been a member for 37 months. Thank you for that. I've just realised I've not tweeted. Unorganised Bridge. Over all the years, I'm normally very, very good. But I think what I've learned today is that things can go wrong. And I think we take for granted the job we do to be live so often doing what we do. We're very consistent, aren't we? And but we're good to go now. Wan-Bissaka is ill. I'm 100% behind Erik Ten Hag, Kevin. I don't really understand what's going on with some of his team selections, but that's not enough for me to turn on him. Bayinda, Amrabat, Mount, Martial, Varane, Anthony, Pellistri, Mainu, and Mabry. I mean Mason Mount, Amrabat, Rafael Varane. I don't know. I don't know what the long-term vision is with Manchester United. I think this is the thing. I think today it's a home banker, isn't it? There's not going to be a problem winning this game with regards to that. Shout out to Tom Aspinall for tonight, please. Mark, says Chris. Big shout out there. Thank you, Chris, for your super chat. It's a home banker. I mean, I've heard some people saying don't jinx Man United against Luton. I genuinely think we should be winning this game by 3 or 4 goals. I'll take 1-0. But I genuinely think we should be winning it by 3 or 4 goals. Because if we don't, any shows down south on the cards, mate? Is that a sexual innuendo there coming in from Joe? Yeah, we've got some shows in the new year. Obviously, don't forget the Christmas show. It's going to be a cracker. I'm just going to put this score thing on as well. Or should I just turn it off? I don't know. I'll turn it off. Not really that bothered. Be a distraction. Early corner to Manchester United. Gregory's gone 1-0. I'm going to go 3-0 United. We're all behind today. But, yeah, I'm sort of working through stuff here that we didn't have a chance to talk about. Maguire's just done a foul in the penalty box, but it's in Luton's penalty box. I don't know what the referee's looking at here. He might be looking at a penalty. I don't know what they're looking at here. Today was perfect to get Mount and Amrabat in the team, says Vixter. Yeah, I think that I think they're looking at a handball for it landing on the arm of the Luton player, and I mean, for me, it travels a long way. I'm not sure. I don't know why is that not a penalty then? I mean, the ball's travelled, what, 40 metres? I mean, I don't want to get into VAR again, but that's come in from a cross. He's gone to head it, and it's landed on his arm. So, yeah, in Europe, it would be a penalty. Yeah. It would be. In Europe, it's a penalty. I think we just leave it at that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to start moaning. I think if you're in Europe, it's a penalty. But look, going back to the team news, there was some interesting quotes coming in from Erik ten Hag, and I do agree with that comment there. This would be the perfect game to put Mason Mount in. It's the perfect game to put Amrabat in, and it's the perfect game to start building something. He ain't building something with McTominay and Eriksen, and he ain't building something with Lindelof and Maguire. Like, they'll be good enough to win today, but we're not building anything, are we? And I think it's the same thing that we said against Copenhagen. We're just playing survival football at the moment, and we should be beating Luton quite comfortably. Comfortably. But the longer term picture, I don't know. This is what Ten Hag had to say before the game. We know we have to win this match. We have to win every match. The approach is different. I mean, I've heard him say this a million times now. You've got to win your duels. You also need to be organised. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is ill. We have to make a change, but that's how it is. They know the rules and the principles. Now they have to show it on the pitch. So Aaron Wan-Bissaka is out. No acknowledgement of the Mason Mount issue or anything else like that, or Varane. I mean, Adam Crafton from The Athletic has said that the Mason Mount situation is completely absurd. I think it is. I sense some people in the chat saying, is Goldbridge starting to turn against Ten Hag? And I think it's a great point. It's a great point. And I'm not going to not acknowledge it. The penalty wasn't given, by the way. The VAR looked at it and said no penalty. I made a prediction using AI, 3-1 to United, Rashford to score a brace and Bruno a penalty, says Nick. I do think Rashford will score today, and I think United will win 3-0. That's my prediction. But Varane's not sick, he's on the bench. Mount's not sick, he's on the bench. Amrabat's not sick, he's on the bench. I mean, I don't like this United side. Is that a dirty word? I don't like this United side. I look at that team next to me. I don't like it. I don't like it. It doesn't get me excited. It's like supporting Stoke. It's workmanlike. It's survival football. It's not exciting. It's not the future. It's never going to be exciting, and it can't be the future. But what it will do is get us 3 points. But I worry if he's going to keep picking this team after the international break, we're going to lose more games. If you're Ten Hag out, I'd be licking my lips. Not today. I think we'll win today. But if you're Ten Hag out, I'd be licking my lips at that team because it's going to lose more games. Like it just will not and is not and can never be a team that's going to, win things. And that worries me a bit. I said a few days ago, Luton will be up for it since they drew with Liverpool and we are out of form. So I think we will win by 1 or 2 goals. It's so important that we score the first goal. And it's so important that we score an early goal as well. But yeah, look, that's the Luton team for you. But I'm sorry, we've been... This might hurt. This might sting a bit. We were fed up of McTominay and Fred and Maguire and Lindelof under Ollie. 3 years later, Fred's been replaced by Eriksen. Like, we're still playing Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay, but we've got Eriksen there now. Rashford's done well, gets it down the wing. Oh, Højlund should have scored. Big chance. Big chance there. We should have been saying Rasmus. It's a big save by the keeper. It's a lovely cross by Rashford. He's in down the right-hand side. He's got that pace. He's got that natural cross. It deflects up. And, I mean, to be fair, Højlund's done what he can do with it, with his knee. And the keeper's made a big save. But good start by Manchester United. Højlund's overrated, is he? He's got 5 goals. He's the top scorer in the Champions League, which is the elite cup tournament in domestic football. Can't be overrated when you're literally the top scorer after 4 games. Yeah, if I was a Ten Hag outer, which I'm not, I'd take this weekend off. I'd be, I would be having a, what do you call it? Hi, Mark. I'm not Erik Ten Hag out, but at the same time, I don't think he's the man to bring the glory days back. You're right. There's no point. Erik Ten Hag with no plans, says Diablo. Yeah, I like Ten Hag, and I want him to do well. And if I was Ten Hag out, I'd take a couple of weeks off and come back for the Everton game when we play Everton, Galatasaray, and Newcastle away. Because if he picks a team like this, he's going to get beat. I'm sorry, he will. I want him to do well, but he will get beat by Everton, Newcastle, or Galatasaray picking this team. It's got too many holes in it. I don't like that spine at all. I really, really don't. But against Luton, it will be enough. Of course, it will be enough. But I agree with you. I really like Ten Hag and I want him to do well. But I find myself totally and utterly baffled by what we're trying to do. And last weekend against Fulham, of course, it was about winning. And we won. And today it's about winning. And I think we'll win. But I don't really understand what he's doing with the team. And if anybody knows, then please let us know. Because I don't understand what he's doing with this team. I don't understand why Amrabat was brought in if you're not going to pick him. I don't understand why Mount was bought if you're not going to pick him. I don't understand why Varane's not playing. And if you're not picking them today, what's going to make him change? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to pick them against Luton at home to get them into the team playing well, you're definitely not going to pick them against Everton away. So this will be the team against Everton away. And I don't get it. Like, he talks about you've got to win. But you can't just play survival football week in, week out. It will work against Luton. It did work against Fulham. But it won't work every week with these players. He's got to... When's he going to transition from what Ollie did to actually doing what he's meant to be doing? That's my problem with Ten Hag at the moment. Look, Lindelof and Maguire are reliable. McTominay and Eriksen are reliable. But they're not good enough to where we need to go. So what are we going to do? Just drift until you get the sack? Or are you actually going to start picking the players that you're meant to be building your vision on? And I think that's the interesting topic of conversation when I talk to United fans at the moment, and I talk to you is, yeah, we can grind results out. We can grind results out, but we're not gonna. There's no future with this. So what's your future? I just think so much has gone against him this season that he's just picking the players that will put a shift in. I agree. It's survival football, Mario. We spoke about this. Strange that every manager is ending up with the same players on the pitch. Must be something wrong, says Andreas. And hi, Mark, you're a top man. I don't get his plan and I don't see the transition, says Harry. And I'm positive about the Ratcliffe deal, even though I wanted full sale. I hope there is a clear plan to gradually buy out the rest. And I think Ratcliffe will sell Nice after acquiring 25% stake. I think he probably will, GSM. Varane shouldn't start after Copenhagen display, says James. Year 1, observe. Year 2, clear out. Year 3, rebuild. Erik Ten Hag in, says Kyle. We have to lose today's game so Erik gets the sack, says Gareth. Well, we're not losing today's game. I want celebration and happiness and positivity from the win today that we have to deliver. That has to be delivered. But I think there is a bigger conversation to be had about what the vision is, because I certainly look at that United side next to me and I find myself sort of going, look at the team last season. Look at the team last season and look at that team now. It's a drop-off. Will says that Andy Mitten said that Ten Hag is not picking Varane because he always wants a left-sided centre-back at left-sided centre-back. And do you think this could be hurting Varane? Well, I don't know what Andy Mitten's talking about, and I don't know what you're talking about, so it's very unfair to pass comment on somebody that I don't know the context of it, but I don't understand this argument. Harry Maguire has spent most of his career playing as a left-sided centre-back and played as a left-sided centre-back for England in every game he started for the last 4 years. Victor Lindelof is right-footed. I don't think it's a logical thing to say that Rafael Varane is not playing because he's right-footed. It doesn't make any sense. Mark, it's as if Ollie's spirit is possessing Ten Hag, says Diego. And no manager is giving the players and bench they need to play their style, meaning eventually they'll have to revert to Ollie ball, says Jimbo. Another good cross into the box. Scott McTominay gets on the head of it, but it goes over the top. You need a haircut, Scott, or at least put some gel on it. You've only been playing 15 minutes, and yeah, you need better hair care. It's very, very fluffy and unstyled. Mark, how often do you think about the Roman Empire, says SPQR? Probably literally just now. Are you worried about the game in the team he's picked? No. No, Lindelof is not left-footed. Lindelof is right-footed. Aaron, I don't know how long you've been watching Manchester United, but it's a school day for you. Varane and Ten Hag's laptop don't get along, says Liam. Occo says, have you ever been to Old Trafford? You haven't watched the United stand for long, have you? Big Sam is at the match after being invited by United's board. Why, says Tomo. Oh, God. Please, God, no. 84% possession for Manchester United. And people think that Luton will win this game. They will be lucky to have a chance. I could play centre-back for United today. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful to Luton, but if they don't get relegated, their manager wins Player of the Year. Like, they are getting relegated. They're not very good, and neither are Sheffield United. Like, I know people. I don't want people saying, stop jinxing it, Mark, stop jinxing it, Mark. Like, I know somebody who's massively Ten Hag out, and they said, I probably won't. I'll probably just watch it on Match of the Day and go out shopping. Like, he's like, he's not even, and he really wants Ten Hag out. Like, he says, I want to be there when it happens, which is very vicious, I've said. But look, there is no jinx here. If I say United are going to win 3-0 and we're going to win, it's because if you don't beat Luton at home, it'll be a bloody disgrace. Everybody's expecting to beat Luton at home, although Everton didn't. I'm not sure if you feel this way, Mark, but this team just doesn't excite me at all. Minus Garnacho and Højlund, I'm tired of seeing these players, says United. I think that's a fair point. I know what you're getting at. We all support Manchester United, but God, we're fucking boring. There's no... And the problem is, Erik Ten Hag describes things like we played quite well, but last season even good was not good enough. Have we dropped our standards? Says the virtuoso. Work break, how's the game going? Stays are good, but stats aren't always accurate, says Oliver. Mark, it looks to me that he's working to find a team and a style of play that is trying to win games. Eric needs his team to play his style, says David. And if Ten Hag wins today, he's the first manager to win 30 of his first Premier League games. New record again. Haters keep hating. I mean, that's fantastic, Justin. It really, really is. But going back to that previous comment, I do agree with it. You know, I don't agree with everybody, you know that, but I do agree with it. It's really hard to be excited by Man United at the moment because we're using players that we've seen for years. Like, we've seen Dalot, Maguire, Lindelof, McTominay, Bruno, Rashford, Eriksen. We've seen all these players, and we already know the answer to the question as to whether these players are good enough. And we're back using them again. So I get it. I mean, I'm desperate for Man United to win. I want us to win all our games. I want us to progress. But there's this nagging thing inside of me, which is going, this is a false dawn again. You know these players won't be good enough. You've already seen it. We should sign that shithead from the Championship. Will make the difference, says Shane. And Mark, have you ever lost that excitement of watching United nowadays, says Robbie. I don't like these games anyway. I'll be honest. Like, Fulham last week, pretty much the same players, on the edge of my seat. Come on, let's get a win. I don't like these sort of games. You know, I'd rather play Liverpool. Like, I don't like Luton at home. I don't like Sheffield United at home. I don't like these games. I don't like Barnsley in the FA Cup. Like, They're just problematic games where if you win, everyone would go, well, that's expected. They're not that inspiring, are they really? Lovely run by Garnacho. Oh, over the bar. Oliver Cook, welcome to Members Club. The most striking reminder from the Beckham documentary is just how much better the treble squad was compared to our current crew. We're so far off. That was from Alex. Yeah, get your comments in, everybody. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, and please do subscribe. I'm just going to have another stretch. Can't lose my earpiece. I forgot about that. What's wrong with Varane? Is it injury or is he fallen out of favour? Says Much. Oh, he's out of favour, 100%. Yeah, there's definitely a problem, and that problem will lead to United getting a pasting very soon. You can't. I mean, think of it like this: last season we had 17 clean sheets built upon De Gea, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, and Wan-Bissaka. Ten Hag is now picking a back five consistently that has Onana, Maguire, Lindelof, Dalot, and Reguilon in it. It's going to cost us games. And his midfield last year was Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno, and it's now McTominay, Eriksen, and Bruno. So I'm very worried. As somebody that wants Ten Hag to do well, I'm very worried. There's been times where I've laughed at it and gone, look, these Ten Hag outers, they're haters, it's never going to happen. I am quite worried at the moment because I'm looking at it and I'm going, I can't see what his vision is. He's just relying on players that ultimately will get you so far, but not far enough, you know? So I am quite worried, if I'm being honest. I'm not worried about today, but I'm very worried about after the international break, especially that first week back. Everton, Galatasaray and Newcastle. 3 away games in 6 days. I'm worried about that. It's very worrying. And it doesn't stop there. Of course, that's not where it stops. What are you talking about, Goldbridge? It's Everton away. It's Galatasaray away. It's Newcastle away. It's Chelsea at home. It's Bournemouth at home. It's Bayern Munich away. It's Liverpool away. It's West Ham away. I mean, there are wins there. I mean, I look at Bournemouth at home and I go, yes. But it's hard to predict where the wins are going to come from. And I look at the teams he's picking and I go, ooh, you know what? I worry. But, I mean, I can't remember what I was tweeting last night. I'd had a few red wines. I mean, it started on the show and it continued. Rashford on the back post, nearly. Mason van der Beek, most bizarre signings ever, says Alan. And it's really difficult to back Ten Hag's vision when we're in the thick of it and not performing, says Nick P. Rashford looks so disinterested and we play football so slowly. It's boring, says Anthony. Pretend Reguilon is sure and that's an Ollie back four, says Kay. I think the problem is Ten Hag is somewhat under pressure to move on some of the high-wage players. SK, this is exactly what I was saying last night. You can call it a conspiracy, 100%. You can call it a conspiracy. You can call it a coincidence. But I think that realistically, Ronaldo gone, De Gea gone, Varane on the way out, Casemiro on the way out, Sancho on the way out. These are all players on huge wages. And is that a coincidence? Counter-attacking football from United. They can't break teams down. They seem nervous. Maybe the pressure for a result is showing, says C. Is this squad distinguishable from the one Ollie would have picked? I rate Ten Hag, but it's getting frustrating, says Alex. But you know, the same thing happened with Rangnick. I mean, I've just tweeted it there, and I don't know whether it will come across as it's intended on Twitter. I don't even know if I'm being critical. I'm just saying that we always end up using the same players, don't we? Like Ollie, Rangnick, and now Ten Hag using Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay, Rashford, Bruno, Dalot. You know, these are all players that half a team have been consistently the default when things start going wrong. And then you look at the bench and you go, Rafael Varane, one of the world's best centre-backs, Amrabat, a player that Ten Hag wanted, Mount, a player that Ten Hag wanted, Anthony, a player that Ten Hag wanted. There's 4 players on the bench that Ten Hag wanted or had playing well last year. And we've gone back to this default of using these core players that ultimately can do a job but have a very, low ceiling. All these players that are out are also the only proven winners in the team. Where will a winning mentality come from? And if all we have is the players from the past 5 years, says Diego. Mark, there's no players Ten Hag can play, and that's the problem. That's why I hope this January transfer window will help him out if he survives, says Doom. Hi, Mark. I love Rashford, but I think it's best for both parties for him to move on. It's clear we're not developing talent. We need to buy players ready, says Zeus. Hurts to say, mate, but maybe Ten Hag is like the players are not good enough for United. I'll back him all the way, but big question mark, says James. And I get the view that he's getting rid of the high wages. You would have to get rid of Rashford as well, no. But no, but he gave Rashford that wage. Like, he didn't give Ronaldo the wage. There is a disclaimer. He didn't give Ronaldo that wage. He didn't give De Gea that wage. He didn't give Sancho that wage. He didn't give Casemiro... Well, he did give Casemiro that wage, actually. But he didn't give Varane that wage. So 4 out of the 5 players that are on the way out, he didn't give the wage to, but he did give Rashford. He said in the embargoed part that he prefers Harry over Rafa on the right. Lindelof and Evans find better angles on the left, and Harry is playing well, says Jake. Yeah. Mark, what's a good finish for you this season, says Sakil. I think the way Spurs are dropping at the moment, you've got to look at 4th. I think we've got to look at 4th. I don't think we should be making excuses. I don't agree with a lot of the Ten Hag outers, but I don't disagree that we should be lowering our standards from top 4. Like, I don't think 4th place is going to be that unachievable this year. I actually even think that a Chelsea could get it if they got, going. I mean, look, Spurs are going to drop like a stone. They didn't play well today. They've got loads of injuries. Villa are not used to it. Brighton have got Thursday night football as well. The only threat for 4th place is Newcastle, and they've got loads of injuries. So I think we've got to look at it like that, yeah. Oh, Højlund. Oh, I just got rid of it. But on the flip side, on the positive, as somebody said, he'll be the first manager to get 30 Premier League wins. Also, if we win today, that's 3 wins out of our last 4 Premier League games. I mean, granted, the fixtures have been pretty favourable. Apart from Man City, it's been Sheffield United, Fulham and Luton. He's also the fastest to 9 defeats in a season, says Mike. There's always another stat. Welcome to Members Club, Bex. Ten Hag is Van Gaal all over again, says LeBurn. All our attackers keep aiming for the top corner. Just make the goalkeeper work, says Joseph. And to get the job, Ten Hag promised to revive careers to sell more shirts, says Decode. Everything's so slow. We've had half an hour here. Luton at the moment don't really look like they've got enough pace to hurt us. I feel Ten Hag was sold a false bill of goods joining the club. I bet he was promised an overhaul that never happened, says Joel. And he gave Rashford the wage because he thought he deserved it from last season. Maybe he thinks these players aren't good enough or deserve the wages, says Daniel. Well, they don't deserve the wage. I mean, the harsh truth is we shouldn't be paying Varane 300 grand a week. We shouldn't be paying Sancho 300 grand a week. We shouldn't have been paying David De Gea 350k a week. We shouldn't be paying Casemiro 300 grand a week. They're all good players, but they're way overpaid. I mean, Anthony's on 200 grand a week. Like they can be good players, but we do overpay. We need an Italian manager, says Frank, and don't understand Ten Hag outers. Success isn't immediate, especially considering the state of this club, says Parksy. Mate, we need this change to happen with Sir Jim. We need to know what the plan is, and we need to change this fucking starting lineup, because I can't put up with another 2 or 3 years of Lindelof and Maguire at centre-back and McTominay and Eriksen in the midfield. Like, that needs to change, and it needs to change quickly. And I'm pretty sure if you bring a proper director of football in, he'll want to do that as well. I like Garnacho, I like Højlund, I like Rashford, I like Bruno. I think there's something that we can build there. I think if you get Luke Shaw back and Martinez, I like that. We need to work on the right side of defence, and we need to sort this midfield out. I'm stunned by how bad our midfield is. We're talking too much about the centre-backs. The bottom line is Varane didn't play very well in midweek and didn't deserve to start. Did he deserve to be dropped for the Manchester derby for Evans? No, I don't think he did. But look, I don't really massively care about the centre-back situation. We're playing Luton. But what I do care about is the midfield. We never get hold of the midfield. We never, ever get hold of the midfield. And we're going to get battered by teams because we don't get hold of the midfield. And this has been a problem probably never been solved in the whole of since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. We've never sorted our midfield out. And we've got to. I mean, Jurgen Klopp has rebuilt his midfield in 2 months. McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Endo, they've rebuilt their midfield in 2 months. And yet United have taken 10 years and they still haven't sorted a midfield out. SK says, it really bothers me when we pin a low block and only see Rasmus moving to create space for passes into the box. What's wrong with our attackers, says SK. Well, look, I'm still convinced that we will find a way to win this game, especially in the second half, attacking the Stretford end. But it's another game at home against a team with a low block that we haven't scored in the first half an hour. And these games would be so much better if we could find that goal in the first half an hour. But as we see time and time again, we're not very good at it. A few people saying, what do you think about Luton? Not a lot. Not a lot. If I'm being honest. But they're an honest, hard-working team. It does have a bit of a feel of the FA Cup about it, I suppose. It's a bit like underdogs at Old Trafford. But it's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting stuff. Rashford, somebody said, what do you think about Rashford playing on the right wing? He won't want to be on the right wing. He won't want to be playing on the right wing. There's no way about it. He's not going to like playing on that right wing at all. But you know what? I think that sort of, in a way, does that not evidence what we're talking about anyway? Like, I've spent a bit of this first. I mean, I'm talking too much about the vision, which automatically, the next step is, what's your favourite packet of crisps? You can tell it's not scintillating United when you're talking about vision, because there's not a lot to talk about on the pitch. Sir Alex Ferguson, Man United had Scholes and Keane. Jose had Lampard and Essien. Pep's got Xavi, Busquets. Zidane had Kroos and Casemiro. We've got McTominay and Eriksen. Yeah, look, midfield is where games are won and lost, and we've just never sorted it out. Lovely play by... I tell you what, I think Garnacho's been a breath of fresh air here. Why do we obsess over achieving 4th place when that we will get there, we can't get out of the group, says Hugh. It's a bit like Arsenal, isn't it? Players always step up for a new coach in their first season, and then players... drop off. I'd give anything to have a mentality like Ronaldo on the team right now. Well, we did, Kyle. We did. We did, and we blew it, didn't we? But no, look. What I was going to say is, I think the Rashford situation sort of makes me. I don't know what you think. The Rashford situation sort of makes me feel the same way as the general situation that team next to me does. I look at Lindelof and Maguire, and I may as well be 3 years ago. I look at McTominay and Eriksen, and I go, you know, it may as well be McFred again. And I look at, and Reece is right. This team needs a major overhaul. And I look at Rashford on the right, and it's not that they're bad players, by the way, but I look at it and I go, there's no future in that. There's no future in Maguire and Lindelof, is there? There's no future in McTominay and Eriksen. And there's no future in Rashford on the wing. So it's just a weird time. We're in a really weird time. And I think if last season hadn't happened, last season makes it worse, because I think last season we were like, first season of Ten Hag, took over a really shit team, finished third in the league. Great save by Onana. Good cross into the box. Good save by Onana. He got down low from the header. Who's marking who there? And another shot from distance. Thank you for the content and your team. Without you guys, I would probably just turn off the game and start to paint over a white wall with white paint, says Mikhail. Yeah, bad defending by Maguire and Lindelof there. One of them's got to be marking him. I forgot what I was talking about now. It was a good point. Rashford on the wing. He's held on to that for too long. But yeah, what I was saying is that there is this inevitability with United that something's going to go wrong, because he keeps picking this team. And this team, we know there's no future in that midfield. And we know there's no future with that defence. And we know there's no future with that wing of Rashford on the right. But what's going to make him change that? What's going to get him putting Rashford back on the left? What's going to get him putting a better midfielder out? Because I personally think that Amrabat, Mount and Bruno is better than that midfield. But for whatever reason, he doesn't want to do it. I personally think that there's a few things that he could change today that he hasn't bothered to do, because he's obviously in this survival mode. But the thing about survival mode is you can't keep surviving. At some point, you've got to start thriving. And when are we going to start thriving? Mark, if Luton win, how would you feel about the Ten Hag situation, says Mr. McGregor. I think if Luton were to win, based on the team that he's picking, you'd wonder where he goes next. And I think that's what some of the people in the media are saying. You know, this is the perfect opportunity to pick the Amrabats and the Mounts and, you know, try and inject your vision. If you can't pick Mason Mount at home to Luton, when are you going to pick him? And I think that's what the media are saying. If you can't pick Amrabat at home to Luton, when can you pick him? And I think that's the thing, isn't it? So if he was to lose against Luton, I wouldn't be saying Ten Hag out, but I think he'd be under huge pressure. Eriksen's just gone down injured now. Who's the one prior Man United player that you would pick to start turning this team around? What, to stick in the team? Roy Keane, AB. Yeah. Well, it's looking like a knee problem for Eriksen here, and it's looking like he's going to bring Mount on. Rashi's tracking back again, says Noah. US broadcasters keep going to Fat Sam and then panning to Ten Hag. Oh, Mike, you don't want to be with that. Mason Mount's coming on for Eriksen here. I mean, but look, this could be a great opportunity for Mason Mount. I'd be buzzing. I'd be absolutely buzzing about this. I mean, if you, in some ways you've got to say, like, What an opportunity. What an opportunity. What an opportunity for Mount. It's a more offensive one as well. I think if he'd gone with Amrabat, it's a little bit more defensive, isn't it? Why can't we see some more of Mainu, says Kanye? Well, yeah, a lot of people in the chat are saying that. I'd forgotten that Mainu was on the bench. I'd like to have seen Kobe Mainu come on. But, yeah, the trouble is Luton will start to grow in confidence. Rashford on the right, for me, is the best thing Ten Hag can do for him. His whole career has been on instinct without having to think, almost. Not now, says Nick. And lovely play by Højlund. If he gets this into Garnacho, this should be 1-0. Oh, how have we messed that up? It's the right ball from Højlund. And it has to be a goal from Garnacho. He's tried to round the keeper. And again, that is a massive chance. You can't argue about that. Rashford on the right. We've done that from Nick. And it's Sir Jim's plan to bring in Big Sam. It's a lovely play by Højlund. He does absolutely everything right. And I think Garnacho just probably overthinks it. It's one of those where if he whips it first time, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's just hesitance from Garnacho in that situation. All this possession, how many clear-cut chances? I want to see some younger players, says Matt. Well, that was probably our best chance of the game there. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. I think Garnacho's been our best player. I know he's just missed a big chance, but we're on the road to 775,000, by the way. Please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Yes, please. Yeah. What? Yeah, what was the score? Who's score? How many? Play one? Oh, it's by mid. Good. I'm just getting my football updates because my daughter's been playing this morning and obviously I didn't go because I was working. So I was just having the updates. The scout report. The scout report. Seb plays on a Sunday morning, so I get to watch that. But, yeah. 3 minutes to go to half-time, anyway. 3 minutes to go to half-time. This team is rubbish, says Stabler. It's just boring, isn't it? Just boring. It's, you know what it is, though? I don't know why I do this. Yeah, shoulders, knees and toes. You know what it is? I did say this, and some of you are aware of it. Are alarm bells ringing? Long term, they have to be. There has to be a vision, and there is no vision at the moment. But, said it before the Fulham game, this is about the badge on your chest. This is just survival football. In a way, it's the equivalent of what top 6 teams do when they're not in a relegation battle. He's surviving. If he wins, he survives. I guarantee you, Ten Hag at the moment is having a chat with his... In the week, he's basically saying, how do we beat Luton? Not how do we stuff Luton and send a message. It's just literally, how do we beat Luton? You know, Maguire and Lindelof have played together a lot. They're good for a clean sheet against a battling team. McTominay's very physical. He'll win a lot of aerial duels and he might pop up with a goal. Bruno's Bruno. Rashford's Rashford. You know, I think he's just literally putting a team out to win because it keeps the pressure off him. The problem with that is I'm Ten Hag in, most of you are Ten Hag in, and I'm bored shitless of watching us play at the moment. I think we play absolute shit. And I don't see the vision. And everybody wants to see a vision. And that's the thing. That's the problem he's got. We're playing survival football, and I'm wondering at what point he stops playing survival football and starts playing some football. I think we only need to spice up the team for some goals, but spice up the show. Seb co-casting when, says Gummy. If I brought Seb in now, which I don't know whether he's even here, I think he's at a party. If Seb came in now, he'd just be going on and on about Harry Maguire. Oh, good tackle, Harry. He looks to me like he's playing great. He's so strong. He's very fast. Oh, great pass. I hear it all the time. Hi, Mark. I believe and back Ten Hag, but we really need to change this lineup. I mean, I worry for Eriksen next season. We should build for the future, says Govind. And he doesn't really know what he's doing, let's be honest. You need to be managing your squad better than this. It's boring, says 5 Cantonars. Obviously, Ratcliffe isn't what we wanted, but any chance he actually makes improvements to help scouting, says Jason. I think it's a massive job, Jason. I mean, as I was saying, I lost my track of thought. Last season, when I was watching Manchester United and I was looking at that defence and I was looking at the way we were playing out from the back at times, I saw a team that if we could start being better in the final third, we had the defence that was very, very strong and a platform to build on. I don't recognise United now. I think everything we did last season, we may as well have thrown it in the bin. I don't recognise... Like, it's really weird. I've never noticed it before. Like, what we built last season was a really strong foundation under this manager. And what we've seen this season is like a completely different manager. Like, some of it was purposeful. You know, he got rid of De Gea. Some of it's been, you know, injury. Martinez, of course, and Luke Shaw. But the last season just seems like everything that was positive about last season seems to have just gone. And the same with the players. The players don't look like they learnt anything last season either. It's really weird because last season was really good. We won a trophy and we came third. And this season, it just seems really like we're starting again. I'm turning this off at half-time. It's so boring to watch. We're playing Luton at home. We should be winning 2 or 3-0. What is this shit, says Sean. And the big question is, who of these players would get in the City team and would... the Kizza, it's not a big question. The answer is, none of these players get in a Man City side. None of them get in a Liverpool side. None of them get in an Arsenal side. That's half-time. That's actually half time. I didn't realise. I was that lost in the excitement. I mean, this is not good. I mean, there's so many people putting comments in the chat, and obviously we're grateful for that, but it's impossible to answer every different good point. There was a really good comment that I wanted to keep back for half time. Let's get the stats up on the screen as well. But there was a great comment that came in about halfway through the first half, and I want to talk about that. But let's have a look at the stats. 76% for Manchester United to 24%. One shot on target. They've had more shots on target. They've had 24% possession and they've had more shots on target. That's abysmal. That is absolutely abysmal. And that's about tempo. That's about intensity. That's about, you know, pressure. 75% possession at Old Trafford and one shot on target. It's a joke. I mean, even if we're shooting from the edge of the box, you know, start putting a bit of pressure on their goalkeeper. He's on a fucking holiday. He's off down the Lowry later to have a look at the museum. It's a joke. It's absolutely ridiculous. We've got a very high pass accuracy, but that's because it's side to side. It's slow tempo football. I still think we'll find. Look, what I would say is it's the same as Liverpool last week. You score the goal first, you win the game against Luton, and I still think we'll do that. But there has to be there has to be, I'm just massaging my eyelids here. There has to be a vision. We're Manchester United. It can't just be grinding out results. It can't be. I'm managing United on the new Football Manager, and it's very realistic. The team turned on me because I gave them a harsh team talk, says Raz. And don't think we've played bad. Balls in the box haven't been great. Just need them to come off. Come on, United, says Lewis. It's just too slow, mate. I think it's... Luton don't look very scared, do they? I think if Luton are at the Etihad or the Emirates or St James's Park or Anfield, they're shitting themselves. And the atmosphere is intimidating. It's very hard for the fans in the ground to be intimidating when they're being served up this, slow play football is what I would call it. But somebody said in there halfway through the half, and I thought I'd keep it back for half time. It's a great point. Do you think the players are trying to get Ten Hag sacked? Well, I think this is a really interesting question because there's definitely mutiny in the club. The Varane thing is incredible. That's another headache. But we don't have a CEO. If I was Richard Arnold, that's a headache, but I'm about to get the sack. So it doesn't really matter. And there endeth the lesson. The club is a joke. The club is a mess. Everything that's really the problem of John Murtagh and Richard Arnold, they're about to get the sack. So if I was the CEO of United, I'd be saying to Ten Hag, look, Sancho's on 300 grand a week. He's playing EAFC. Varane's on 300 grand a week. You won't pick him. We've got to... What's your vision? What's the plan? Because it's really difficult for me to sell Varane and Sancho in January, and we're paying them over £500,000 a week. What's your plan? And what do you want me to do to replace them? Because we don't have a lot of money. There's a load of stuff going on at the moment that I think we desperately need the director of football and CEO who are going to be them, and it's not going to be Murtagh and Arnold. So the club at the moment is in November, a very, very important time with very important games, but it's just, there's just so much going on at the moment. There's just lack of vision. So do I think the players are playing for Ten Hag? I think those players on the pitch are playing for Ten Hag, but I think they are. The honest answer is I don't know. I think this club at the moment is massively confusing. I don't know what you think. I just find us really confusing at the moment. It's like reading a book or watching a film and not knowing what's going on. Is it a drama? Is it a romance? Is it a comedy? Is it a horror? I don't know what we are. I don't know what we are. As I said, it's just the whole club on and off the pitch seems to be in survival mode. Let's just live day to day. If we get through today, we've got tomorrow. There's no vision of what's going to happen. And a lot of that does come down to the sale. Of course it does. There's a lot of things that can't be done until this deal goes through and new people come in with new visions, and we've got to wait for that. But on the pitch, Sir Jim and Paul Mitchell are not going to change a lot on the pitch short term. So what's Ten Hag's vision? Are we going to stick with Rashford on the right wing and keep benching Anthony, who you spent 80 million quid on? I mean, there's so many things to talk about. The difference between when Garnacho gets the ball and Rashford is startling. Nacho takes his man on, tries something. Marcus sticks leg out, back pass. That's from Aldo. The centre-back partnership seems odd, leaving Varane out. Perhaps a better chemistry duo than Varane. Yeah, I think Varane played badly on Wednesday, so we can't moan about it too much, Niall, for today. But it's the bigger picture, isn't it? If only we had a deadly finisher like Ronaldo. And do you think that Mount is going to go down as the worst number 7 ever, says Anthony? Well, again, Mount's been on for about 20 minutes. I've not noticed it. Pass forward, pass back, pass side, pass back, pass side, pass back, long ball, lose the ball. It's worse than watching a tree grow, says JS. I don't think Ronaldo in this team makes a bloody world of difference. I mean, I find it surprising that people say, oh, if only we had a goal scorer like Ronaldo. Check the stats. We've had one shot on target. Højlund's had one chance, and that sort of hit him in the middle of the chest, and the keeper made a good save. We don't create chances for a striker, so it doesn't matter whether you've got Ronaldo, Højlund, Haaland, Kane. We don't create chances. The midfield is redundant. It's so lethargic. It's so uncreative. If I gave our midfield a piece of paper and said, draw me a lovely picture, they'd just draw me a stick man. It's boring. There's no creativity in there at all. Same style of football we played under Ollie and Jose, side to side, no penetration, passes, players aren't brave enough in the midfield to turn on the ball, says Art212. What's Steve McLaren actually doing? Look, I I don't think we need to start individualising things. I'm a big fan of not doing that. Collectively, there's a really big problem at Manchester United, and we all know what it is. We're miles off. We're absolutely miles off. And I think with, look, I feel we'll grind it out in the second half. I feel we will. But I'm telling you now, in many ways, this international break, it'll be nice to have 2 weeks for players to come back, hear what's going to happen. I think the international break's going to be really about the future of Man United and what the plan's going to be from what I'm hearing. There's quite a lot of stuff that's going to come out over the international break, and that's going to be obviously about the next few years of Manchester United. But I think straight after the international break, even as a Ten Hag inner, I'm terrified. I am terrified of what's going to happen to us after the international break, because Goodison Park ain't the sort of place for United to go and play the way we're playing at the moment. St James's Park is not the place for Man United to go and play at the moment. And Galatasaray away is not the sort of place. We're basically going to 3 very hostile places with a team that has got very, very little confidence and very, very little chemistry. And I think that week, if you're Ten Hag out, could be pivotal, considering Sir Jim might be in position by then. I think that week looks absolutely horrific. And as somebody that doesn't want to see Ten Hag getting sacked, I admit I'm worried about it, because I don't know what he's trying to do. I think he's just playing survival football. And the problem is, there's no way Rashford wants to play on the right wing, so he's not happy. There's no way Højlund wants to be living off scraps, so he's not happy. There's no way that McTominay is good enough to play in the midfield with Mason Mount defensively, so that's a problem. And there's no way that back four is capable of keeping clean sheets, so that's a problem. So I think that there's some huge issues coming up for us after this international break. Arteta kept a system regardless of the players, says Sam. Mark, with the greatest respect, I think you guys talking about mutiny and sacking just gives airtime to negativity. Give him the season, says Tom. Mate, with all due respect, with the greatest respect, Tom, people are talking about it anyway. I don't know what country you're from or where you're living, but the United stand, in the sense of me and the majority of the community, is behind Ten Hag and vocally backs Ten Hag. If you live in the UK, whether it's TalkSport, TV, some of our fans, they've been pushing Ten Hag out for weeks. Like, he gets ridiculed all the time. So, with all due respect, it's not down to us. Very far from it. And also, there's always two sides to a coin. It's not good enough. Hi, Mark. Could there be a way to cross live to Beth and the others for some halftime commentary from the stadium moving forward, says the Tank. No, you can't do it. You get into big trouble because there's music in the background. Also, United don't want you to do it. Just squeezing by Luton is a joke either way. I'm Ten Hag in, but for heaven's sake, read the room and get the right players in the right places, says Anthony. Bruno constantly recklessly giving possession away is so infuriating. I'm so over the way he plays, says SMV. And if the owners don't have the passion and desire to win trophies, this will filter down to the players. Zero winning mentality in this club, says Steve. And this is a game we should be winning 4-0, easy. Slow, sideways passing. Rashford looks like he couldn't care less. Look, Nick, we could still win this game 4-0. If we score the first goal, Luton will open up a bit and there will be space. But it's getting that first goal. We've been terrible since Sir Alex Ferguson retired at Old Trafford, scoring goals in the first 20 minutes. We would see such a different United if you get that goal in the first 20 minutes, but we don't do it because we don't start the game with the intensity to do it. UKG, thank you very much. Welcome to Members Club. Unrelated, but why was Garnacho shushing the crowd against Copenhagen when he's achieved nothing? Says Tiger. Mark, honest question. Why do some teams play dominant possession football at home but play defensive counter-attack away? Is the hostile atmosphere that terrifying, or is it the manager? Says Louis. I don't really know. And we had more forward passes and more crosses than we normally do. Yes, we didn't take the chances, but I thought it was a good half. I feel too many fans are being blinded by negativity lately, and it's sad, says LJ. And Mark, just on VAR, doesn't help the referees because players dive constantly and keep up the great work. Thanks, JRE. Look, obviously we're playing Luton here, but another way of looking at it is that the longer we don't score, the more confident Luton become. Games are dictated to by patterns and events. We never really see United score at home in the first 20 minutes. If we scored in the first 20 minutes against Brighton or Palace or Luton today, those teams can't counter anymore. They've got to be more expansive. And when a team is not countering, it gives us an opportunity to be more attacking ourselves. We see a very consistent pattern at United over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. We struggle to score early, and therefore we struggle against the low block as these teams become more organised and confident. We struggle to score early in games because we don't start with the right intensity. What we should be doing in the first 10 minutes against teams like Luton is fullbacks should be bombing on past the wide players. People should be getting in the box. We should be heaping pressure in numbers onto Luton from the first 10 minutes. But we don't. We start in this lethargic sort of, let's see what's going to happen. And you've got to start with intensity. You've got to go and get it. And then the hard work you put in the first 20 minutes to get the goal will then make the next 70 minutes easier because Luton will have to come out a bit and that will leave more space. We're masters of our own downfall and we've been doing it for years. Look at Ange today. When you lose key players to a system, you have to change the way you play, and Spurs looked off. Our fan base is just ridiculously impatient, says Omar. I don't disagree. We just can't finish our chances. It's dreadful, says Joey. I think the only chance we should have finished was Garnacho. I think that chance was a golden opportunity, and we should have taken it. Sorry, it's half time, so I've got a cup of tea and some shortbread. Why not five? Sorry, what was this? Why not a 5 back, and can Casemiro convert to a centre back? Why would we play a back 5? Liam Dunn, welcome to the Members Club. Oh, he's been a member for 17 months. Thanks for joining the Members Club, by the way. You'll see people with the badges next to the name, your legends. And Mark, to improve the style of play in terms of chance creation, I really believe we need a ball-carrying midfielder. Yeah, I agree. Right, let me just eat this because it's probably annoying people. Idiot Bridge. I thought I was back talking to you. Away. What I basically was saying is that fair play to the Luton fans who've travelled all the way up from London. I suppose it's a day out. But it will be a wasted journey. We will win this game. We're attacking the Stretford end in the second half. But even if we do win, I suppose we are stuck in that very familiar scenario of performance in the bin, result is all that matters. And I wish that wasn't the case, but it is. It is. Jay, thank you very much. Franco's a member. He says Prattbridge. Shortbread going to your head, says Gaz FM. He's a member. I'm going to read out some members here. Thank you, Mo, says Andre. Oddmar says you're on mute. Okay, maybe we'll leave that for a little bit. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Remember, we've got the match reaction coming after this, player ratings you can do. Then we've got the fan forum. Got an interesting interview going up on the channel at 8 o'clock tonight as well. Keep your eyes out for that. And obviously, we're live every morning at 10 o'clock. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with the channel. Thanks for all the super chats as well. Thanks for all your support. You're absolutely fantastic. Somebody asked a question about Sancho that I want to come back to in a moment as well. Welcome to the Members Club, Kian. Appreciate it. And another super chat here. Back 5 allows extra protection for Delo plus creativity from wing backs. I don't like back 5s, Luke. United will become a club where players come to retire to help their long-term corporate careers, says FK. You're set for life. I was talking about this to somebody a while ago. I'm not on TalkSport tonight, Joanna, no. If you're thinking I'm on TalkSport tonight, don't tune in. I'm not on. I'm off out tonight to a party. In Ten Hag, we must trust. Come on, United. Thanks for all you do. Says Paul. Scott Summers, thanks for your super chat. Mr. Daciandro says, I would move away from Ten Hag in or out. We get it, there's division. Let's just concentrate on talking about other topics. Ten Hag in, keep up the good work. Well, I wish life was that simple, mate. I wish we could, I agree with you. I wish that we could not have the Ten Hag in or out conversation. I wish there was a button where I could press it that Ten Hag is going to stay for 2 years. And then we could just have the conversation of what the fuck's he doing with the team? Where's the vision? What's the future planning? Because I don't like the Ten Hag in or out thing because it's just too simplistic. Oh, sack the manager, keep the manager. I would rather say Ten Hag in for 2 years, but watch your vision. I'd like to see him under some pressure around what his actual plans are without the default of let's just sack him. I don't like that. Let's just sack him. Let's say he's staying, but what the hell are you doing with this team? Because at the moment, it's massively confusing. At the moment, you're more Ollie than Ten Hag. You're picking a team that Ollie picked. You're not picking the players that you brought. Off topic, but this game's dead. Really enjoyed listening to you on the Unfiltered podcast, says Karash. Thank you very much. I've got a free kick to whip in here. Oh! Bruno's free kick. Rasmus gets his head on it on the front post, flicks it just wide. Should he do better? Probably. He doesn't get a lot of power on it. He's going for the far corner. If he gets it, it's a goal. Give him time. Give him time. We're back in 1989, says Hazan. Look, there's a lot of talk about Mount. Mount didn't start, but he's on the pitch because Ericsson got injured. There's a lot of talk about Amrabat. He's another player that he's bought that he won't pick. I mean, at the end of the day, he's picking players that played for Ollie ahead of players that he's brought into the club. That is confusing. And another one that's probably not been mentioned massively today, he's now got Marcus Rashford playing on the right wing and is benching a winger he spent 80 million quid on. Like, if we're going to put Rashford on the wing, are you acknowledging that Anthony is a flop? And that's just one topic. And of course, we don't know the answer yet because Anthony might be back in the team hopefully soon. But there are so many questions about this United side. I mean, what's he doing with Varane now? Varane, on paper, is our best centre-back. I think everybody agrees with that. Literally, look at his Wikipedia page. But, you know, is he out the team now forever? Are you going to have to sell him? What are you going to do with Anthony? What are you going to do with Amrabat? Is Casemiro done when he comes back? Is Rashford a right winger now? Are you going to stick with Garnacho on the left? Are you going to buy another midfielder because we desperately need somebody who can, you know, hold the midfield? So there's just loads of these questions. Will you do a match and reaction with all the United Stand guys where all are with online, says Chris. Don't know what that means, Chris. Need more clarity. We're all together on December the 11th for the Christmas show, if that's what gets your rocks off. Is there anybody that you've noticed? Here's a question for you. Is there anybody that you've noticed today that you think is having a really bad game or having a decent game? Because I think that's a problem. It's an interesting one with Rashford. Oh, here we go. Could get something on the break here. Garnacho. And goes for a corner. It's an interesting thing with Rashford, isn't it? I like Rashford on the wing because I like a natural right-footed crosser. But on the wing, he doesn't look any better than, you know, considering what we pay Rashford and how talented he is he doing a better job on the wing than a Crystal Palace winger. I'm not saying he's doing bad, but there's not really any. He's not really like. It's just okay, isn't it? MLK says get Mainu on. Anthony was on 25k a week. We gave him 200 grand a week. That's a mindset that players have made it and a culture of expectation instead of earning your opportunity. I agree, Art. I agree. Great point. But we've had 50 minutes here and it's 0-0. It's not good enough. Into the box for Luton. Good block by Lindelof. They'll grow in confidence, Luton. Here's a break for United. Bruno. Lovely ball out to Garnacho. No, it's got too much on it. But we're already into that zone, aren't we? Where his plan A hasn't worked. And he's going to have to make changes. How did Varane go from our best defensive pairing to being last in the pecking order, getting Amrabat, but Scott is still starts, says Anakin. Ronaldo, Sancho, now Varane. Is Ten Hag's plan to fall out with all the best players? This isn't prison. No need to walk up to biggest guy and whack him, says Sifu. Unrelated to the current game, but score predictions for Chelsea City. I'm doing a watch along of that tomorrow. Hopsy, but I think City will win that. I'm just taking some notes for the match reaction. Thank you very much, Hopsy. It's obvious he and the team need to get back to winning ways. Then the plans come back, says Armours. Is there any chance if we see everyone who works at United stand in one game watch like this, says Chris? I'm sure we could arrange that. Yeah, it's not impossible. Completely ignore my previous message, which is still active, says Exceed. No, I don't completely ignore anything, mate. Some of them just slip through. Just an observation, but we always go into a game looking like we're playing for the draw recently. There's no urgency, says Lee. They're definitely not playing for the draw, Lee. They're definitely not. But look, I've not always been Maguire's biggest fan. I'll put my hands up there, 100%. But what I will say is this. Harry Maguire last year was 5th choice centre-back. You know, he was behind Luke Shaw, who's a left-back. He swapped Rashford and Garnacho, by the way. So Maguire was 5th choice centre-back last year, yeah? And Varane was 1st choice. We're now in November. Maguire is 1st choice centre-back and Varane is last choice centre-back. I mean, that's just not logical to me. You know, Maguire's 5th choice and basically you don't want to pick him. And now he's 1st choice. And Varane was 1st choice and now he's 5th choice. There is something about the way Ten Hag manages his team, which is almost all or nothing. It's like you're either in, but if you do something wrong, you're right at the bottom of the pile. But he doesn't do it with everybody. Because like Victor Lindelof just seems to hang around sort of 3rd choice centre-back, doesn't he? And I'm like I say, I've not always been Maguire's biggest fan. But look at the way Maguire's not playing any better now than he's ever played. He's some people think he's shit. I don't think he's shit. I think he's a certain level centre-back. But Ten Hag decided he was right at the bottom of the pile last year. And now Varane's at the bottom of the pile. And I don't care what you think about Varane. He's better than Lindelof and he's better than Evans. So I don't really understand how Ten Hag treats his players sometimes. And I'm still trying to understand because he's only been at the club for a year and we're not going to know everything about him after a year. But yeah, he seems to isolate players. But then you can win your way back in and be a favourite again. But there's no in between, if you know what I mean. To be fair on Rashi, I actually like what he's been doing overall on the right. I think in theory, at least, he could do more from there, says SK. Rashford just needs to go back to basics. I mean, he's on the left-hand side now. So Ten Hag's, I don't mind switching wingers. Andy Mack has been a member for 35 months. Garnacho needs to sit. He constantly loses the ball, says Tebben. I think, call me a genius, he swapped wingers because he's playing to the crowd. You know what he's doing? He wants to bring on Pellistri or Anthony, and he doesn't want to take Rashford off. So he swapped Garnacho to the right-hand side so that when he makes the sub, everyone will go, well, Garnacho was playing on the right at that point. I think he's playing to the crowd. I think he doesn't want to take Rashford off, but he wants to bring a winger on. So he swapped Rashford to the left so that when he brings the right winger on, people go, oh, well, you know, he wasn't playing there at that time. I think that's what's happening here. I would expect on the 60th minute, he brings on a right winger. I might be wrong. Someone said he shouldn't be playing to the crowd. He should be playing to the crowd because the crowd, as we've heard recently, have celebrated and cheered and, you know, booed substitutions that they don't agree with. So we've had one shot on target. I can't believe those stats are like that. It's incredible. Rashford gets tackled. After an hour. Lindelof! Get in! Nice cold finish! That'll do! That'll do! Shut up with your jinx and all that rubbish! Luton in the mud. Man United score. It's a bit fortuitous, to be fair. It's taken a long time. And the Goldbridge 3 o'clock jinx has worked. If you check out Twitter, Rashford puts the cross in from the right-hand side. It's bouncing around. And Lindelof there will think it's his birthday as he pops it in off the ground. Yeah, Rashford puts the cross in. It's bouncing around. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those, isn't it? You know, you get a little bit of luck in the in there, and it just drops to Lindelof, who blasts it. To be honest, and I'd literally just tweeted that United have had one shot on target in an hour. Literally just tweeted it. One shot on target in an hour, and we scored. So, they were VAR in it. It's been given. I don't know what they were VARing it for. Got no idea. Somebody just reading the chat, someone said VAR. And that's it now. You know, whatever happens now, let's go and get 2 or 3. But that's it now. Like, it's not been very good, but it's Luton at home. Just get the fucking win. Survival football, yes. It baffles me when people think they're smarter than Ten Hag. United have more external factors than any other club. Rashford got a new contract because PR demanded it, says Xseed. McTominay was apparently offside. No, it's been given. We're playing on now. So I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell you what it was meant to be about. But it's definitely been given. Definitely been given because we're playing on. Everton are winning 2-1 at Crystal Palace, by the way. Everton are actually climbing the league quite nicely at the moment. Oh no, they're not. They're in 16th. Arsenal are 2-1 up against Burnley. Trossard and Saliba. I've got Saliba in my bloody FPL. I don't have any United players. Although we should get a clear. I should have put Onana in goal. We should be getting a clean sheet today. The game will open up now. There should be more goals for Man United because this is what I mean. It doesn't mean that this is where I was talking about this on That's Football earlier. Some people don't understand football and the way it works, and that's fine. I'm not being arrogant about this, but Luton have now got to try and score. So they will open up a little bit more, and that will leave United in exactly the game that we are very good at. If United could counter-attack for 90 minutes, we'd be fine. We'd probably finish in the top 4 every year. But you can't counter-attack when you're not winning, because Luton would love a draw. So they'll park the bus and they'll play a low block. They're losing now. They've got to be a little bit more adventurous, which allows us to counter-attack. So 1-0 could end up being 4-0. That doesn't mean we've played well today. That just means that, you know, for an hour we played badly and then Luton are going to open up now. This is why you need to open these teams up earlier, because then you can have a performance where people go, we played really well today. But there will be people when we've won this game saying it's only Luton and we were crap for an hour. Wow, my FPL was lucky. I've got Lindelof, Saliba and Onana, says Jace. And Rashford and Mount have to get goals now. This is their chance to get going, says Diego. Oh, it's so important that we win today. It's so important that we win today. Like, you know, I like Christmas. It's well known. Goldbridge loves Christmas. But I don't love the games we've got after the international break. I really don't. I think it's... I know I was talking about it in the first half, but I'll go through them for you now. So we've got Everton away, Galatasaray away, Newcastle away. I mean, if we could win 3 of those games, I'll be fucking ecstatic. But they're tough. Then you've got Chelsea at home. Chelsea are a good side, especially in the midfield. I wouldn't fancy playing Chelsea at the moment. Old Trafford or Stamford Bridge, I wouldn't like to play them because they've got a better midfield than us. Casido and Enzo and Conor Gallagher are better than anything we can put out at the moment. Then we've got Bournemouth at home. I mean, I'd fancy us against Bournemouth. Then it's Bayern away. Then it's Liverpool away. Then it's West Ham away. Then it's Villa at home. So I look at it and I go, right, Everton away. In the league, Everton away, Newcastle away, Chelsea at home. They're all tough. Bournemouth at home, you'd hope. Liverpool away, West Ham away, Villa at home. I'm like, those next 7 games, we could lose 3 or 4 of those. So, yeah, it's nervy times. Wow, might have done that from Jace. I just did Premier League games. I didn't do the Champions League. I didn't mention Bayern. If I did, I apologise. Let's have a look at the league table. Well, look, the league table can lie. It can lie because we've just played Luton at home, and it may well look quite good at the moment. That league table at the moment looks good. That looks good. That looks good because we've got 21 points and we're 6 points off second. Because we don't draw games. We've just got to get the second goal here. But the league don't look too bad. I mean, I got to say, as the king of Ten Hag in, or the leader of Ten Hag in, I'm not the leader. I'm not the voice. But as part of the Ten Hag in brigade, 6th place in the league, you can't be sacking a manager. It's too early to be thinking about sacking Ten Hag. You can think you want him to be sacked. You can think he might not be the right guy, but we're not there yet. The story's not been told yet. Far from it. It's good. We need the second goal here because what we do not want to happen is hit the 80-minute mark, 1-0, and just sit back. We're losing our cool, says Mott. Anthony's coming on. I like Anthony. I'd love him to score. It'll be for Garnacho. Like a puppet on a string. Doo, doo, doo. Oh. I'm going to stretch. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. All I want is a group of play. Who said that? Okay. It's like Mariah Carey in the chat. Oh, it's not Mariah Carey. It's Mario Franco. All I want is a group of players who enjoy playing organised, making triangle passes and confusing the opposition. No flashy passes or players with constipated brains, says Mario. Scooby-Doo United have played the game, says Niall. All I want for Christmas is you. Ooh, baby. Oh, I don't want a lot for Christmas. I just want to win. I just want... What is it you want, Mario? What is it? What is it Mario wanted for Christmas? All I want for... I don't want a lot for Christmas. I just want to play good balls. Anthony for Garnacho. Surprise, surprise. Predictable substitutions. Reguilon press has been enjoyable to watch. Reguilon's good going forward. Kanye. Defensively, he worries me a little bit. Eric Ten Hag is not stupid, says Tor. When can he rest players in this marathon? He is setting up just good enough to win later in the season. This will help us. Will he be here later in the season, though? That's what I mean. He's not got a lot of credit left in the bank because we've lost too many games already. And those games against Newcastle and Everton and Galatasaray, that week's massive. I've played the game. That week is absolutely massive. Fair play. You know what? I will say this. Fair play if you predicted Man United 1-0 against Luton. I mean, it's sort of where we're at the moment. You've just got to take any win you can get. Survival football. Hopefully it won't finish 1-0, by the way. I really fancied Rashford to score today. And I nearly had the moment. That would have been dramatic pause. I really fancied Rashford to score today, and I nearly had it. So close, but so far. He's playing off the left now where he wants to play. That's the end of Garnacho now. He's won his place back on the left wing. Do you think? Free kick on the edge of the box for Luton. Yeah, definitely was a free kick. Clever play by Chong. Definitely was. Yeah, well, that'll be Rashford back on the left now and Anthony back on the right, I think. I think Garnacho's done. You're a young lad. Get back on the bench. We're back where we need to be now. And that's the problem, isn't it? It's when you're trying to fit players into your team and they're not playing well. Well, we've got 20 minutes to go. Stu's going to stick with 4-0. There could be Stu's banking on an avalanche. How are we struggling against Luton after Copenhagen? I'm just about done with this team, says Shane. And can you ask Phoebe to stop sending so many TikToks, says Niall. And Mark nearly had a goalgasm. Not only because I would have been proved right, Raz. Thanks for your super chats tonight, by the way, everyone. This afternoon, you're legends. Luton are going to have to make a substitution here. Get Mainu on, says Agile. AK says your backing of Rashford is admirable. No. Let's not get this confused. I like Rashford. I think he's a good player. I think he's playing very, very badly. All I'm saying is that he's Ten Hag's star player, so he's going to pick him. It's the same as when Ollie kept picking Maguire, or I'm trying to think of other man, Mourinho picking Fellaini or whatever like that. Like, I respect why they do it, because it's their player, it's their guy, isn't it? So, but look, Rashford's back on the left wing again. He's not earned that position. It's just very subtle from Ten Hag, isn't it? Oh, Anthony, you come on for Garnacho, Rashford back on the left. And then against Everton, it will probably be Rashford on the left wing again. Whereas I think Garnacho, as a young player, you can't expect him to hit the ground running. You've just got to keep picking him and get him used to it. I think Garnacho should start the next 3 or 4 games as well. I think he should get a run in the team. But I think that'll be it now. I know it's a good free kick position for Luton, this. If it goes in, I'll be absolutely stunned. I don't think they've got the players to score from here, but it's generally, I mean, I think they're just going to blast it. Love will tear you straight into the wall. Told you, they ain't got the technique. But as I said, it'll be interesting if United start sitting in. If we don't score, we need to get the second goal, because then it should be game over anyway, but we need to get the second goal and then it is game over. Hi, Mark. Garnacho is great, but needs to learn how to put away big chances, says Als. He's had many in the past few games and hasn't taken care of them. I know, but I think you need to keep picking him for him to get used to that. Rashford's just gone down here. He's banged his head. Yellow card. Fade says Luton are bad. Look, I wouldn't tweet that because it's not fair. But they are really bad. And I know they're bad. And Liverpool know they drop points. Like, they're bad. They're going to go down. And we've struggled. What I haven't heard anybody say is that we're really lucky we've got Luton at home after that Copenhagen game. Like, I think if we were playing anybody from the top 10 today, we'd get beat. So we can moan about, oh, we've not played that well. But there's a massive positive. Win the game, hopefully. But also, we're very lucky that the league, the fixtures fell like this, because the way we're playing at the moment, that midfield is open. We're not controlling it. And if we played a decent team today, we'd get hammered. So it's all right moaning that, oh, we're not beating Luton 3 or 4-0. We're not beating them 3 or 4-0 because we're not very good at the moment. And actually, I'm absolutely ecstatic that we're playing Luton. Because if we weren't playing Luton, I think we'd be in massive trouble. Rashford was never consistent. He had a great season last year and that's about it. How has Ten Hag missed his stats from the previous seasons, says Baron. And can anyone else remember a time when Old Trafford was a fortress? We seem to play better away from home at the moment, says Steve. Well, we're going to need to play better away from home, because we've got 3 away games coming up in a row. Look, I don't want to make excuses as well, but I'm very pissed off with the Premier League, and this might be something that you project yourselves. After the international break, we play on Sunday afternoon. We've got a game against Galatasaray on the Wednesday. Thanks, Premier League, for helping English clubs in Europe. Why the fuck are we playing on a Sunday after an international break? Why are we not playing on a Saturday? We've got a massive game we need to win in the Champions League on Wednesday night, and you've put us on a fucking Sunday. You cretins. You absolute cretins. Why are we not playing on the Saturday, giving us the best opportunity to do well in Europe? We've got 3 games in 6 days. We play Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. They're all fucking away. It's not good enough. And people won't want to talk about it because they're not happy about the way we're playing. They're not happy with Ten Hag, etc. But that's bullshit. It's an international break. We should be playing on a Saturday with a Champions League game on a Wednesday. They've got us playing Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Getting knocked out of the Champions League means we can focus more on the league. Transfers in the summer would be a car crash if we have no European football, says United Finn. look, you can be... Oh, Luton on the attack. Oh, we've done well to get rid of that. What do you think about Mount, says Michael McCann. The thing you know what I think about Mount? The same thing I think about McTominay. I barely noticed them. Mark Hoyland injured now as well. That doesn't look good if he's gone down. What's he looking at? What we getting? What you seeing? What you thinking? A hamstring. Fucking hell. Varane's coming on as well. Varane and Martial. We're probably going to a back five. He's walking though. I think that's precautionary. I think it might be. It might just be. I agree with Lee. It could be precautionary, that. Reguilon for Varane. Man of the match for me. Player ratings we'll have for you soon, yeah. He's off down the tunnel, Hoyland, but he is walking, so Reguilon can't even play 90 minutes, says Hader. Well, at least we're not playing a back five, but Luton are going to have a bit of a go here. He could be feigning injury to escape international duty, says Thomas. I hope so. But he likes playing for Denmark, so I don't think he will. This goes from bad to worse, says Jordan White. 10 minutes to go in this amazing, scintillating game of football. You know what? I don't think I'm speaking alone here when I say I'll be sad when this game ends. It's been absolutely fantastic. Luton might have a chance, says Ishan. Shut up, Ishan. In the nicest possible sense, you've read my mind. I'm a little bit worried the way this game has gone since we scored, that we are sort of resting on our laurels a little bit here. The prospect of a second goal hasn't really been... I mean, we've only had 3 shots on target all game. It's been ridiculously close, considering... Here we go! Over the bar. Manchester United. Don't do a Wolves. Don't do a bloody Spurs. 1-0, not playing very well, and then it goes wrong. Cross comes in from Bruno. Headed away. Cross comes in. McTominay, good save by the keeper. That could have done with that going in. It's so shit, though, isn't it? You know, seeing these players still playing for Man United, they're bench players at best. You know, we're used to Cantona and Keane and Ronaldo and Rooney and Scholes and Giggs, Van Persie. And look, the team's just not good enough. I mean, don't clip me up on that, because it's actually... I don't want to be clipped up for that sort of stuff, but it's a problem. You know, we're just getting by. We're playing just getting by football, aren't we? I'm going to use that line. I like it. I feel sorry for the youth of today because you're growing up on absolute shite. But is this the moment for Anthony? No. Too greedy. Too greedy. I've played the game. I was greedy. What we got? 10 to go. Oh. Good tackle. Well, hopefully... Well, remember, Ericsson went off as well. So... These sort of games remind me of Van Gaal a little bit. David Boyd, thank you for the super chat. I was Van Gaal out very, very early. And you'd get a lot of games like this where, you know, you win and people go, oh, you're so toxic. And I'd go, no, I just don't think he's the right man for the job. I don't think that about Ten Hag, by the way. I'm just saying it just feels a little bit like, you know what I want to do? All I want to do is have some fun. No, literally, I do want to have some fun. But all I want to do is say this, that I want to sit here and go, swivel on that, Ten Hag haters. Where's your moaning now? But I can't. And I'm not going to pretend I can. We're heading towards a period of 2 or 3 drubbings, says Nit. Oh, look, we will get drubbed before Christmas. But yeah, I desperately want to be able to go, you know, I want to be sat here going, oh, Ten Hag outers, you're not real fans. You're not real. You got no fans. Do you want some? You know, I want to do that. And they'll be sat there going, oh, I can't really, you know, they've won. I'll look an idiot if I start saying Ten Hag out. He ain't going to get the sack. We're in this halfway house, aren't we, where no one's winning. The Ten Hag inners are like, I can't really sing and shout about that, it's shit. And the Ten Hag outers can't really go, well, I can't get him sacked, we've just won a game. So we're sort of just stuck in this halfway house. Handbrake FC. The whole club's like that at the moment, isn't it? We're just stuck in this limbo. It's a limbo, isn't it? That's what it is. We're stuck in a limbo. Another good line. How much do you think we should offer for Ferguson after he signed a new deal? Chris, we're not in that deal. My United supporting friend wants Bielsa in. He thinks Ten Hag is too defensive-minded like Ollie, says 58 go. And our forwards have struggled due to the way that we're having to play with a makeshift defence. Without our back four, we've adjusted to safety-first tactics, says Andrew. Question mark, with what you've seen of Eric Ten Hag, do you think he's the next Sir Alex Ferguson, says Kay? That's a great question because most people will say absolutely not. He's not the next Sir Alex Ferguson. But I remember the late 80s under Sir Alex Ferguson and it wasn't that great either. Like, I still think Ten Hag has a vision that can come through, but I don't know when it's going to happen or whether he'll get the chance to do it. Nothing will beat when Van Gaal compared the pulling of Fellaini's hair to sadomasochism, says Aiden. Mark, we need some Titans in midfield, so right about just getting by FC from what we all remember, says SK. When Bruno retires, how do you think he'll reflect on his career, says Zero Connection? I mean, look, we're going to do the player ratings. Links in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. My feeling about the midfield today, whether it's McTominay, Mount, Ericsson or Bruno, is they really have just... I've barely noticed them. I've barely noticed them today. McTominay had that header. But, you know, we're playing Luton Town and we can't get hold of the midfield. It's a concern. It's, you know, it really is very scrappy survival football, isn't it? David says, I'm still struggling to find out why we can't play good football, why we can't create chances. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because all you want to do is win. But no one's going to watch this game and be enthusiastic. I mean, as I said, I'm really concerned about those 3 away games, Everton, Galatasaray and Newcastle. I think that week it's as exciting as it is daunting, to be honest. Cliff says Anthony's underwhelming, but who isn't? Who's not been underwhelming today? Who's not been underwhelming today? I think Onana's done okay. Maguire's done okay. Delo's done okay. I mean, the defence have done okay, probably 6. Reguilon would probably be my man of the match. But, it's even giving Reguilon man of the match. I mean, was it a Man United performance? We're giving people man of the match just because they weren't too bad. Like, there's no Man United player on that pitch today that's put in a Man United performance. We're really, really clutching at straws. The level of performance is just Everton. And people keep saying we need our players back. You know what players you're talking about? Martinez and Shaw. That's it. Wan-Bissaka played midweek. McTominay has massively improved, says Stephen. I don't know what game you're watching, mate. We're winning 1-0 against Luton at Old Trafford. And the midfield for me has been absolute shite. We're playing Luton, mate, at home. One thing I like about us is we never seem to draw, which is a plus. I suppose draws can hurt a team. Much love from Ireland. Yes, yeah. Ty, very good point. Apparently Mount's playing well as well. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it, how everyone's playing well in that midfield and yet we're only beating Luton 1-0. This is what I mean. Standards on the fucking floor. We're playing well now. We've played well today, apparently. Midfield's played well. Yeah. 1-0. 1-0 against Luton. And we've played well. With 4 shots on target to their 3. Possessions dropped off a cliff second half as well. 66%. It was nearly 80% first half. Rashford's been a hard watch, says Jay. I don't like individualising it because I don't think it comes down to one player. The frustrating thing with Man United is that I can never rest assured any moment, even though we're winning. I can't be at ease till the final whistle, says Nishay. Well, you should be. You should be at ease. The problem is you can't be at ease when it's 1-0 at home to Luton because it only takes one mistake. And we're in trouble. Luton on the attack here. I mean, I can't speak if we can't get over the line here. What's the point? 8 minutes added on. One word to my glorious chat. One word to describe this game, and it could be your word that I use on the title. Been getting in trouble with the titles lately, so one word. Sorry to get your inside of a United game, but just wanted to say the Inside the Industry pod was a great listen on my way to work yesterday. Happy weekend, says Biff. I'm glad you used it. If you like listening to me talk in a podcast scenario, then Goldbridge Saves Football is out on Spotify. Give it a listen. A lot of people saying boring, shocking. I think shocking is generally quite a reactive emotion, isn't it? Blue balled by Man United, says Kanye. Yeah, I'm not going to use the word trash, but I hate it. On your point of control in the midfield, my biggest concern is the gap between the defence and the midfield. Also, the lack of ball movement. Not sure if he wants to control it, says Kunnell. Here's Rashford. Wins a free kick on the edge of the box. I'm worried about Højlund. No goals in the Premier League. He seems like a European striker to me, says Sean. I'm not worried about Højlund, Sean, because I don't think it's anything to do with the European ball or the European scene. It's to do with chances. He just doesn't get the quality of chances. One word to describe the game would be bland or elementary, says LFC Snipe, and lackluster start to finish, says James. This team needs to be studied by Harvard. How can we go one season with only one loss at home in the Prem to this next season, says Eventual. What next for Rashford? Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Bleach Guy says Højlund is on an eternal graveyard shift. Well, we might score here. It's a good free kick position for Bruno. Right on the edge. Why is it so hard to see a style of play? It's like every game living on a prayer. Hard to watch, says Mr. McGregor. Terrible free kick from Bruno. Very high. High, wide, and certainly not handsome. It's a shame. It's not... Oh, actually, look, it's not a shame to win, actually. But... it's alarming. I was going to use the word alarming. It's alarming to see Manchester United at home to Luton with our manager on the touchline panicking, looking at how many minutes are being added on. It's not... That to me says problem. Because it's Luton at home and we need the final whistle. And the players, I think, will be very happy about the hard work. I'm sure they will. But, I mean, Ten Hag's getting into arguments with the referee at the moment. It's Luton at home, mate, and you've been booked. Solskjaer FC. Alicia, thank you very much for the super chat. This was definitely a game for United today you could have missed. It's definitely one of the ones where you could have looked on One Football and just gone, yeah, United 1-0 win. I'm glad I didn't watch that. McTominay, man of the match, says Stephen. Mate, you've done 2 chats now that make me think you're a family member. I don't know what... You're making up lies. McTominay, man of the match for what? How can you give any of our midfielders man of the match when we've basically not won the midfield battle and it's 1-0 and Lindelof scored the goal? He hasn't even done the thing that gets him man of the match, which is pop up with a goal when he does next to nothing else. Ward-Prowse scores that free kick and he's on quarter of the wages Bruno's on, says Kay. Well, player ratings are going to be really interesting. Links in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Fan forum is going to be very interesting as well because it's a home game. So everyone on the fan forum's been at the game. They'll be able to tell you, what it was like in there. Fine margins, says Rashid. Pathetic performance. I think it's pathetic that we haven't been able to get a second goal. That Mengi kid looks class, says Yellow Bathing Suit. I'm glad he's playing. I'm glad he's playing games. Well, what we got? About a minute to go. You keep saying it at home. They just drew with Liverpool, says Tevin. Not at home, they didn't. Well, actually, what you're talking about? We're at home to Luton. I guarantee you, Luton won't get a fucking point at Anfield. How long should we need to live with this, Mark? Says Anarud. I don't know. I don't know because I don't think he's given us any indication of what's going to change against Everton. I don't see any changes in this team. I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know what the vision is. We're just very, people have said it. We're just very lackluster because we're not good enough. Rashford down the wing. Come on, let's finish it off. No, the ball had gone out anyway. We have injuries, says Sandeep. And I keep saying to you, what injuries have we got? Martinez and Luke Shaw. You're telling me now that we can't play good football because we're missing a left-back and a left-sided centre-back. And don't say Casemiro because everyone's been slagging Casemiro off all season. So who are we missing? Simon says, oh my God, stop mooning. You need to learn how to spell, mate. There's an A in it, not a U. I know I'm not necessarily moaning because I back the manager, but this is fucking Luton at home. Like Fulham last week, Sheffield United the few weeks before. We're winning 1-0 against Sheffield United, Burnley, Fulham and Luton. It's survival football. It's like we're trying to fucking survive relegation. Don't concede a goal and nick a goal at the other end. It's dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful. And if you think that that's acceptable, then, you'll be moaning soon. We've got to massively improve the way we play football because this is going to go one way. This is going one way. And it ain't looking good. And I'm behind the manager. But I don't know what he's going to do in that week after the international break because we'll get beat 3 times if he tries it like this. I hate breakups. I've been cheated on 5 times and yet she left me for disability. I've just been smoking and drinking. Favour you. A Pratt, says United Snape. Okay. Can't believe the game against Luton would give such exciting. Thanks, United players, says Kian. Don't forget to do your player ratings. Links in the video description and it's on the video description of the video I'm just about to push you to. Let's talk more about this brilliant game in a couple of minutes on the match reaction. I'll see you there.